my woman, how many mana, Kenny baby, I call, what's up, I warren, one in pa, as I did power of you, Demo Ember,
my name is Maxwell. I work with Joy FM and Enjoy News. I was trying to follow the conversation on social. When the minister was actually reading a speech, I was trying to follow also, monitor as well on social media. I think what struck a lot of people was the correlation or the link between unemployment and then free senior high school education. I know there are colleagues in here who are also still trying to understand what's the correlation, really is. I think the minister did well by giving us a breakdown of what he means by strict employment and then the broad terms. But I'll be happy if he could clarify how free senior high school education can actually lead to a decline in unemployment. A lot of people are still confused. Yeah, thank you. Okay, no, second question. The second question, I think some months ago, we heard of an initiative to collect data on our brothers and sisters who are physically challenged so that we can provide them with jobs. I want to find out, as we're talking about figures, employment and unemployment figures, I want to find out how far with that initiative and how many people have we registered so far and what kind of employment have we provided for them. Thank you.
Yeframi Abednego. Akosia Sanchez Yedu, me adwuma wado mefem. Na bon pacho, ububo figures bebre. But na me dem person me find out to say January 2017 government mo Azumi office. Ubetimi am the unemployment rate and na the current rate. And after jobs are created within these 2.5 years. And I'm person change man. Thank you.
Yeframi Daniel Adudako. Peace FM. Because me perceive me who say first name say IMF conditionality in the young for public sector. Me perceive me who say see any IMF as ye fa and public sector na mobile do say na mafa some fa and so atambe na mbefa and then me perceive me who.
My name is John Awuni from Kesben, Kumasi. In your presentation, you mentioned that about 11 million Ghanaian workforce are currently available per the statistics, and then around 1.5 million are in the SNIT scheme or are roped into the SNIT scheme. And you further added that about 6,000 of some ghost names were expunged from the SNIT payroll or whatever, saving the country about 43 million. But nothing was said about prosecution or the fact that 43 million was saved for the country. That is good to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For some of the questions, I may have to defer to my agency heads, especially that on the prosecution of offenders of pensions business. Joy News, you wanted to know the correlation between free SHS and the reduction in unemployment. I indicated to you that when we are calculating persons in employment, we take those aged 15 and above. You agree with me that at age 15, one will have just completed junior high school. I have figures from Ministry of Education which indicates that but for free SHS every year some 90,000 persons wouldn't have continued education after basic education, after JHS. So all these people will either have learned some trade or will not even work at all. So it will have added up to the number. That was what I meant by that. But even that, if you want to extend it, free SHS policy also led to the recruitment of some 34,000 persons into Ministry of Education's data. So that in itself also added some formal jobs to it. But then what I'm trying to say is that the bracket of unemployed persons, which takes away children in school, will have been bigger if this 90,000 a year were not enrolled in school. I hope I'm clear on that. And then on the issue of physically challenged persons, I must admit that I don't have the figures at hand, but I do know that the Ministry of Roads, for instance, has insisted that persons that man the various toll booths along the length and breadth of the country, at least 50% of such persons should be persons with disability. That, I agree, is not enough to address issues of job issues of persons with disability. It's a big challenge. It's a huge challenge. I want to say that we have been discussing this with our tripartite constituents to see how best we can make it easy for persons with disability to be engaged at the workplace. Because some workplaces are not even conducive for such persons. Even public offices, there are some public offices you go, even after the passage of the Disability Act, they are still not compliant with the requirement of the law. So I see that as a huge challenge to all of us, and I must concede it is a constituency that we must consider. Abednego, normally, the Etienne Emranoa Yede Labor Act no Eshe Mimi Ministry ne say Ebrebia Yena yen turn out statistics on unemployment, but because of resource constraints, normally yentimi enye non tentem. Enti ayana yede ho kodan statistical service. Omo ye data na ye analyze data no to suit what the law says about employment. Enti the last time it was done, na 2015. Enti metimi amount figure for 2015, but not January 2017. And so what year? 2015 no make say na 11.9%. And now the next one on na afi and also aba and no 7.1%. Enti me need the exact figure for end year 2016. Peace FM na opese who say IMF conditionality no e can say yemfa enipa ewo public sector no correct, but na bibi kakra te ho the omo kan say yemfa enipa ewo public sector except health and education. But me know we are going to say even in health there was this huge backlog. Nyame encha de se say IMF conditionality no any hobio. It is obekaya health sector is recruiting, education sector every year recruits. Se see amene wo say a local government service is recruiting. Almost all the security agencies have been recruiting, and employment is taking place within the public space, even though not in the biggest magnitude as perhaps every Ghanaian will look up to. Let me fa kwanya we na mentre enkanka emabuno a omo awie school omo peduma no dodo no ano ehwe ni mo say aban aduma no omo beye Ghana wohwe omo ye aban aduma nyina ye kan ye nyina bomu a ye dodo no kra no enuru 1 million. Meanwhile omo wie school afibia from all the tertiary institutions, is estimated to be over 100,000. Sorry. So it is not possible, say, Obia Benya a workspace in the public sector. But buying asudie and the responsibility, and they say, obetimi are building a robust economy so that the private sector will have confidence in. As the private sector grows in confidence in the economy, you will see investors coming up, opening jobs and what have you, and then people taking advantage of that. Money may say, some years back, 20, 30 years back, when the broadcasting space was limited to only the public sector, if you wanted to be a journalist, you could only practice your journalism at either GBC or any of the state-owned media houses. But with the liberalization of the airwaves, now Asempa Waha, Adomo Waha, you can count so many. Say Ebia Krafa Nipa Baku, they are creating employment for Ghanaians. Such is the way I buy faso creative jobs. So it is not say Ebia Abaya Jumankwana Efanipa, but Abai creating a conducive environment for the private sector to thrive. And as the private sector thrives, more and more jobs are created. Entiminuya Ofri Peace FM, the public sector has been engaging since April 2018. Kesben, no person who say defaulters are or more. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm told that one was in English. He wanted to know what has happened to defaulters. Let me invite the Chief Executive of MPRA to answer that.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Prosecution of defaulting employers is an ongoing process. If you look at the law that created the new pensions regime, SSNIT was originally clothed with the powers to prosecute. So we all know about the famous Saturday court that takes place for defaulting employers of Tier 1. So that is ongoing. There is no let-up at all. The gap that existed in the law was the fact that even though Tier 2 was mandatory, there was nobody given the powers to prosecute Tier 2 offenders because the Tier 2 is privately managed. And currently we have about 30 corporate trustees who are managing them. So the case was who is to prosecute those who are offending. And that is what the Attorney General has now given to MPRA the powers to prosecute. And the Minister rightly said that there are 13 employers who are now being processed. And it will be ongoing. So the prosecution is now going to cover both Tier 1 and Tier 2. And it's something that we are going to do to ensure that all employers do not default. And at least the numbers for Tier 1 and Tier 2 will correlate.
I don't know if anybody has any follow-up question. If you do, this is the time. Otherwise, we'll just have to thank the Minister for availing himself, together with his deputy, the Honorable Bright Yakubobe, Chief Director, and all the representatives from the ministry and their agencies, and of course, our media partners, whom without them this program would never be carried out in the successful way that it's usually carried out. So I'll thank everybody for your time, and thank you for the opportunity, and we'll pray that God bless us all. Thank you. In case anyone would want to discuss or engage the Minister on any other topic outside these, but pertaining to his sector, his office is always open, and once you are able to get access to him in his office sometime next week, I'm sure he'll be ready to engage you. Thank you.